We recently ran a poll for our channel asking your big real estate questions, and we got a great one from JR. He asked us, when will prices go down? And this is a great question, and it got us thinking. We actually know exactly when prices are going to go down. And yes, house prices will go down in 2022. And we are going to explain in this video when you can expect that to happen. And stick around to the end where we talk about some of the headwinds for the housing market. Hey there, Christian Walsh, real estate agent with Wire Associates. We've been using actual housing numbers and insight to help buyers and sellers make the best decisions during these crazy days. And we're here to answer the big question that JR had and a lot of other folks have, and that is, are home prices going to drop in 2022? And we'll start with some data from ycharts.com, where we're looking at the median home sales price at a national level, the U.S. existing home sales price, and you're going to notice a trend, and this is going to help us figure out exactly when prices are going to drop. It's not a big surprise because it happens every year, and this year is going to be no different, but we're going to expound on that and share more because it could be somewhat unique this year. Looking at the data, we see what happens every year. We see that we get a dip, and this dip in the median home price consistently is January of every year. So things go up into the summer, and then the median home price starts to dip. Then in January, we start out at the bottom. Same thing every year, consistently. We're going to reveal something interesting about that because you may be thinking to yourself, well, January is not the fourth quarter. January is the first quarter, but stick around. And since we're based in California, I'm going to show you the same thing happens at the statewide level that happens at the national level. We get our dip in every January. Year over year, the Januaries are at the bottom. The only one that had a double dip was in COVID years. In 2020, we had our dip in January, and then we saw the dip in May. What is different this year? And one of the things that has me wondering just what this fourth quarter is going to be like, and different from other years, is we're seeing a much larger drop off. We peaked in April, which is slightly sooner, and it has been dropping. The median home price has been dropping. And yes, diving down one more step, we're based in Orange County, and we can see that when it comes to the trend, the same trend holds at the county level as well. So we see our dip into January. But if the prices bottom out in January, how can we say that the prices drop in fourth quarter? Well, the important thing to remember is that these are the actual sold numbers. So when we finally close in January, we get the numbers that are at the bottom for the median home price. Don't forget that the majority of these properties are going to go through a 30 to 45 day escrow and maybe a little longer. As an agent, I know that if we open up escrow in the middle of November, we lose some time because of Thanksgiving. Then we get into December and we lose more time because of the holidays of Christmas and New Year's. So it's very difficult to close a deal at the end of the year on a short time frame because of all the days we lose. So that's where a lot of these deals end up closing in January, and that is the number that was negotiated 30 or 45 days before. So the price drop in the negotiation, in the contract where it was locked up, actually happened then in the fourth quarter. So that's an important thing to remember, that the drop is going to show up in the fourth quarter. We then see things start to increase after that. So those increases we see in February, March, April, those also have that same shift of the 30 to 45 days. But those increases are a result of escrows that have been opened after the first of the year. So that's what's important to understand. Historically, in the fourth quarter is when the prices go down, and it shows up in the data at the very beginning of the first quarter in the following year. So hopefully that makes sense. And what that means is if you want to negotiate a better deal, if you want to try to negotiate in a price drop, you're going to have to do it in the fourth quarter. It's going to have to be in November or December. And one more thing, you're gonna read the headlines where it talks about prices dropping. It is going to continue through the rest of the year here. We're going to see the median home price drop. Please don't be shocked. It happens every year. It's seasonal. Yes, it did happen a little sooner this year, but this is nothing new. There are some unique things in this fourth quarter that are going to make it a crapshoot as to exactly what is going to happen. Will we see prices absolutely plummet, or will it be just seasonally low? So some of the headwinds and confusing things out there are the interest rates. Where exactly will interest rates finish out 2022? We know the Fed fund rate could potentially be increased 3 more times. There's 3 more meetings, September, November, and December. There's already talk of another 0.75% increase in September. We'll have to see how that plays out. But there's a couple more they can do after that. Where will rates be, and what effect will this have on interest rates as the Fed continues to fight inflation? And that's another one of the wild cards. Where exactly will the economy be at the end of the year, and where will inflation be? Will we tip into a recession, which will reduce demand potentially even more for real estate, in addition to what higher rates have done to reduce demand? That is a big unknown for this fourth quarter. And of course, with the higher mortgage interest rates, inflation, the economy, the reduction in housing affordability, we have buyer sentiment at a record low, and it will probably stay at a record low going into the fourth quarter. So that means there is a reduction in demand because of that, and we will see how that plays out in the fourth quarter. And this low buyer sentiment is reflected in the number of properties going under contract. It is at an unseasonably low number. July had a record low number of pending sales, and we'll have to see how this continues through the third into the fourth quarter if pending sales stay low. And ultimately, what's going to lead to the big price drops that some folks are waiting for and may or may not come will be an increase in inventory. Now, builder sentiment is down, and this has caused builders to pump the brakes on producing new homes. So we don't expect a flood of inventory from new homes, and we can't expect foreclosures to flood the market fourth quarter of 2022 because they're not in the pipeline yet. If you've been watching my foreclosure updates for Southern California, you will see that we are still very far away from a foreclosure wave. So while we have seen recently an increase in inventory in a lot of the markets we're tracking, there's actually some where the inventory is dropping again. So that will be the other wild card that we have in the fourth quarter. Where exactly will the inventory go? The same bad news that's causing buyers to sit on the sideline is a lot of the same bad news that sellers are hearing, and they're deciding to stay on the sidelines as well. So while the fourth quarter will bring the seasonal price drops, we will have to wait and see just how big those price drops are to see if they go beyond seasonal into the level that folks have been waiting for. And then, of course, you'll have to track and see what happens first quarter to see if the spring buying season takes off or sputters unlike years past. So let us know in the comments below, where do you think home prices are going to end up fourth quarter? And we want to hear what your burning real estate questions are. You're missing out if you're not one of the 2,500 others who are subscribed to our free weekly email newsletter, where we cover data insights like this, landlord-tenant laws, and a whole lot more. We have a link below so you can subscribe to that. And check out this next video for more information on the housing market. Thanks for tuning in. This has been Christian Walsh, real estate agent with Wire Associates, and we want to hear from you.